Live here from new home base in St. Petersburg, Florida.
16th block.
HQ. And we are here with episode 45, TJ Martino podcast. Can't believe I've been doing 45 of these, man.
Yeah, it's really flying.
Feels like number one. Not really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a minute. A lot of stuff has happened. Yeah, we found a new location. Happy to be here with some two OGs of the show. Robert Kindle to my left, your right, and Harrison Kurz to my right, your left. And yeah, we're just gonna just run it. And yeah, this is the MoveIn Pod. That we've been talking about doing this for a few months, but it's like we've all been in different places
before you got here.
Yeah, before I even got here, and like we've just all been in different places and traveling, but also just going around and seeing the town. I mean, that was the biggest thing I think for me, like in terms of like not being able to make as much content just because I've been just like trying to soak this whole place in. Like I'm in a totally new environment. Like I was living with my parents before, just in my parents' basement where I was just streaming all the time, like not doing a whole lot. And now it's like a complete 180 where I'm going out again and dating and doing all sorts of stuff. So it's just like,
how you liking it?
It's amazing here.
We've been here. We clocked in about a year before you did.
Yeah, you guys have been here for a while. So
yeah.
I guess my first question is like, what is the biggest difference now, like having a third roommate in the house as opposed to like, and you can be as ruthless as you need to be?
I would say
we have more space.
We have more space.
Yeah.
We've got a bigger place. We have more space, but I mean, it feels like there's more going on. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't think there was much downtime with me and Harry there, but having just another body in the room, another head with ideas, man. I mean, there just always seems to be something happening.
Yeah.
Conversation's flowing.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. We like for me, it was just like a complete 180 because like I said, I was like literally just not doing a whole lot. I was like just in my parents' basement, going out to dinner with them, and just like not really like seeing the town. But like, and like being in Cincinnati, like I have more friends here moving in than I did in Cincinnati moving out. So it's like, for me, it was just like. It was a no-brainer, and like the stars just kind of aligned, and your guys' lease was coming to an end, and we made it work. And yeah, I agree that the space is definitely really nice here. Actually, we had like the rooms, like they're not that big, but like it doesn't really matter because like at least the living space is big, and like we all just like hanging out here anyway. So it's like
right. I'd much rather have a larger living space than a big room. I don't want to be spending time in my room. We're in Florida, man. We should be outside or at least socially doing something, not just.
Right, going out and going to the beach a lot, which we're going to do tomorrow, hopefully, if it doesn't storm. But that's the thing that's really strange about this place is, like, the weather. It's like, it's like...
Florida summers. Yeah. Guarantee rain.
Yeah.
It's like every day.
It's super rainy, and then it'll be, like, really sunny. And then it'll be super rainy, and then it'll be, like, really sunny. Like, there's no consistency to it. But, like, Ohio weather was, like... You didn't know what you were going to get. Like, it'd be, like, 100 degrees, and then it'd be, like, freezing cold the next day, and then it'd be, like... mucky out like here at least you kind of like there's a little bit more consistency here. I mean, yeah, like things will just but the thing is like a storm will just creep up on you here, like that's the thing. It's like because you're right next to the ocean, so you're getting like all that evaporation, and like it'll just pop up in like 10 minutes and you'll be like, oh man, it's storming, like take cover. Like
yeah, just yesterday I was at Busch Gardens roller coaster amusement park / zoo over in Tampa. It was like 90 degrees, beautiful all day, and then just out of nowhere, it was like big thunder. Everything was shut down, rain coming everywhere.
Ruined a bunch of kids' days.
Ruined my day. Fuck the kids, man.
Fuck them kids. Nah, but yeah, it's been really awesome, and like that's the biggest thing I think. Like, if why I've had such a lapse in like making content, but I think I like now that I'm like settled in and like I've had a month or so. Couple months, like what, 2 months under my belt now, like because I moved here end of April, so like it's been kind of like crazy. Like I know I did the Doctor Strange review, but like outside of that I hadn't really been doing like anything. Like so it's like we're getting into streaming a little bit more and doing some of that stuff, and like but at the same time it's just like I think it's just I needed that time to really just soak this place in. I mean, like going out here is crazy. Like the bars are like every bar you go to is just like it's got a different vibe. That's kind of what I like about like the strip of like St. Pete and even like Tampa, but I haven't really explored much of Tampa lately because like St. Pete's just so convenient for us. It's just like, why go anywhere else? Like it's like everything's just like right here. So it's like, why take the 25-minute Uber or whatever to
end up getting $100 charge on the way home
right.
and just walk. But That is something we need to do. We need to branch out a little bit more. It's so easy to get comfortable here because it's so cool. I mean, there's so much to do. You can go down there and there's 40 different bars, all with a different vibe, different people in there, and it's just like, okay, you can kind of have a different night every time you go out. You know, if you go to a different place. So.
Yeah, and it's like, and I would say like here, like it's like the bars aren't like huge, but I kind of like that because it's like there's a lot more of them. Like, so it's like if you're not feeling a vibe, you just go right next door and there's another one that's just completely different music, different drinks. Like there's bars here that just like have like specialty, like the what's the place with like the specialty shots and like
pour one out.
Poor Judgment. Yeah, we had some good nights there, playing credit cards roulette, which is always a good time. Yep. Which is basically you take a hat, throw a bunch of credit cards in, and like whoever's the last credit card pulled out has to buy the round for everybody. So yeah.
Have you ever been with somebody who like refused the credit card roulette?
Like just didn't want to play, or
no, like they lost the credit card roulette and they was just like no. I never have. I was wondering what that situation would look like. I mean, then what do you play again?
Depends who the guy is,
right? Yeah,
I mean, that's true. Because it's like, but it's like, why would you even play then at that point if you're like.
If you knew you were going to be
the
out.
stipulations going in, like it's like
right.
But you have to if it was one of your boys, it's one of those things where you probably eventually just let it go, like you give him shit for it. But if it was like some girl's boyfriend who's just there for the night, come on, guy.
Yeah, right. like you have to go in there thinking that the mindset like, okay, I'm going to lose. Like be willing to lose the $50 or whatever.
I know what the risk is here.
Right, or just don't play.
Exactly, yeah, and it's like, because it's like the rules are pretty simple. It's like once you like put it in the hat, it's like
it's pretty black and white.
It's a gamble. Like you're gambling.
Yeah, you got the last card, you're paying.
But it's nice when it's like your card is the second to last one. And like there's one or it's either you or somebody else, and you're just like, please don't let it be me.
Just get that rush.
Yeah, sweat it out.
Yeah.
But like when you're the first one out, then it's like you already start like picking out like which one you think they're gonna get, because like we always did it like because like at that place for Judgment they have like a whole like menu of shots, so it's like you go there and like they have like a whole menu of tequila, a whole menu of rum, a whole menu of whiskey, a whole menu of that, and basically how we did it was whoever lost would obviously pick a shot off the menu and then have everybody guess which one it is based on like when they try it. So that was always like a fun thing too to add, because then you're just like you're sitting there like and everybody's like trying it and they're like trying to be like a connoisseur, like ooh, like this tastes like They're
like sniffing it.
Yeah, sniffing it, wafting it like it's a high school science project. But it's just like I like that atmosphere though of just like that was the thing I missed like in Cincinnati, and I was 24 going on 25 and I'm like, man, like what am I doing? Like I'm wasting my young years like in a town where like I just didn't have like all my friends were in other towns, so I just felt like it was time for me to just branch out and be a kid for a little bit longer, while I'm still
you're a peacock,
right?
You gotta let you fly.
Exactly. I don't think peacocks fly, do they?
It's a other guys, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. I was trying to
didn't
put
pick
that
that
together. Will Smith, right? Or not Will Smith, Will Ferrell. Will Smith.
Polar opposites.
Like, yeah, I mean, couldn't be more opposite.
Will Smith, and I didn't even talk about that Will Smith thing. Any thoughts on that?
I think it was fake. Like,
I also think it was fake.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be like that, like conspiracy guy right off the bat, but like, I feel like that was nobody fucking. What was it? The Emmys or the Oscars?
It was the Oscars.
It was the Oscars. Yeah. Like, no one fucking watches that anymore. They're like, Will, go slap Chris Rock, and like, what did the viewings went up? Probably what?
Oh,
200%.
Well, not this year. It went up a little bit this year because it was like 10 million last year, 2021, which is the lowest it's ever been.
Like, how many people do you think searched the Oscars on YouTube the next day?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Next year is going to see a significant bump because of that. And that's why I agree. I think it was staged just because, Will Smith got suspended, which that'll end up being, or he got banned from the Oscars after that. I mean, that's the worst thing that happened to him. And he still accepted the award. And that was the other thing. I was like, if this was real, they would have revoked that from him. Because you can't behave like that. Like you can't be hitting people like
could you imagine just being able to go up in public and bitch slap somebody and then get a trophy afterwards?
Yeah, and get rewarded. And that for me, I was like, this is fishy, just because I'm like, and there was no security around either. It was just like nobody escorted him out. Like that's the thing. Like if he would have gotten escorted out by security, he literally went and sat back in his seat.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fishy. I'm like, this just seems like a ratings ploy for a struggling award show, which nobody like. And that's the thing. Like it's just like with the Oscars, it was just like the interest was going down. You know, it became too political and preachy, and people were just like, look, we just want to. It stopped being about films, and now it's even further. Now it's just a meme show at this point. Like it's like. That's what the Oscars should have been. It was like it always was about celebrating filmmaking and like the art of making film, like whether it be like the sound guys, the visual effects guys, the production design, the costumes, like all that stuff. And it strayed away from that, and those people just got put on the back burner for political social commentary, and then eventually now just memes. So it's just devolved, and it's and that's what's like kind of sad about it more than like the actual incident itself, because like whatever, it was probably staged. They probably, and like what I think they did is they probably like tipped them off. Like they didn't, they were like, Chris Rock's gonna make a joke about your wife, and then you just have to like overreact to it. But some people are making arguments that it's like that it is legit. I mean, yeah.
He looked pissed after, but he's an actor.
Yeah, exactly. He's an actor. He gets paid a lot of money to do that. So
and I mean, and that's the whole deal too with these things with actors and actresses, like the Amber Turd trial. It's like she's up there and she's telling her story. It's like she gets paid to like pretend to feel a certain way. You know what I mean? So it's like you're up there listening to her story, and I just literally just reflexively said turd. I wasn't even.
How odd is that? She literally pooped in his bed, on his side of the bed.
I can't even imagine, man. I can't even imagine if my girlfriend was upset with me and I walked in and there was just like a dump on my side of the bed. Like I don't even understand if I'd be like very upset at first. I think I'd just be I'd just sit down and think for sure.
Yeah, it would be. You definitely have to question it. That's pretty discouraging though. Like, damn.
Yeah. I wonder what she meant by it. In her head, what was like, what
was the rationale?
This will show him.
Yeah, I think it was just like. Probably just like she was very and I think it was like before she went to Coachella, so she probably was like, we'll leave him a little present, and like I think he was gone out of town too, so she's like, I'll leave him a little present. The funniest thing was though, in the trial they tried to blame it on the dogs, and they showed the dogs, and they were both like two little like Pomeranians, and the guy was like, there's no way like these little dogs could have made that pile of crap. Like there's no way that like scientifically that's impossible. But yeah, you're right. Like it's like she definitely was up there just like trying to ham it up, and like she just got caught in a lie, honestly. Like, and that was the biggest thing. They just didn't have any actual evidence like that Johnny Depp actually abused her. Like they just there was just evidence that he was an alcoholic and a drug addict and all that, but like that doesn't necessarily equate to him being an abusive husband per se of her physically.
Yeah His attorneys versus hers were like, I mean, they were just putting on a show. I mean, they were just grilling them the whole time. It was
and there was just no substantiation to it. And it's like, it was definitely worth like being in court, but like at the same time, it's like, they looked up, there was no medical records of anything. Like, they even showed the pictures of her like going out the nights after she had alleged things were happening, and like, like, okay, where's the broken nose? Where's the bruises? Where's all this stuff at? Like, you would be able to see that like as clear as day. Like if you have a broken nose, like it's pretty obvious, like to be able to see that. And she's like, oh, well, we just did good makeup, and it's like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know how well that held up, and obviously the jury didn't buy it. But you're right. I think it's like the whole thing. Like we've looked up to these actors and stuff as like more than that, but that's what they do. They do that for a living. It's like everything they say you can't necessarily take as the truth or even their honest opinion of a matter. Like because they're actors. Like at the end of the day, like I'm not saying they're not real people, but I'm saying like that they definitely like ham it up for the camera, especially when they're like on TV. Like she knew she was on TV. The whole trial was being televised, and same with the Will Smith thing. Like that was on TV. Everybody knew it was on TV. Like so, like
that whole trial was a mess, man. And then there was those videos of her online, like sniffing that thing, like and they were saying she was putting something in her nose that like helps people like fake cry. It was just such a mess. Like, you know what I mean? And the real sad part is too, it's that not only did she just embarrass herself, but like that whole, she wanted to be a martyr for the cause of that whole Me Too movement, and she just set all those women back so far. Like, you know what I mean? Just going up there blatantly lying, like just because she wanted to be I don't even know what the reason was at the end of the day, but
she wanted to exploit the narrative. I mean, that's why she wrote the op-ed a couple of years ago about basically alleging that he had abused her, was because, you know, there at that time, like, people were just getting away with it, and like it ruined his career. I mean, it threw his career into the toilet. He lost the Harry Potter film. He lost a bunch of opportunities for films, and like he figured, this is some BS. Like, I didn't do any of this, and like, you know, even if she didn't mention him by name in the article, I mean, it's about him. If you read even part of it, like, it's about him. So it was just a straight up, you know, she was trying to capitalize on an emotional situation, and it blew up in her face because, you know, when it came down to it, he sued her for defamation, and when it comes down to evidentiary hearings, like, if you don't have any evidence, you're screwed. Like, it's just common knowledge. But like, it was. I agree. It was a complete circus, and like, I think it was just a big distraction too, to just get people away from like whatever else was going on in the world. Like, it was more so like just like everybody was just like in unison, just watching this. Like, it was just, you know, it was like a reality TV show.
Yeah, I was
gonna say you could have filmed that trial, put it on Netflix, sold it as a fictional show, and I would have believed it. Like, the way they were just. Yeah.
I could see them making like a reenactment of it for like a streaming service, like down the road, like they make like a Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, like, I mean, it was trial series.
It was laugh out loud funny at times. I mean, like, the questions they were just getting her on, and the reactions, and some of the witnesses they had up there.
Like, yeah.
I mean, think if you could get, you know, both some of the lawyers, some of the eyewitnesses, like, to do like a documentary. I mean, that's a hit right there.
No, absolutely.
You do an hour 40-minute dog.
Yeah, all the behind the scenes research that went into it and shit. Yeah,
right. That's money.
Yeah, I think it's just like funny, like, 'cause you watch like the court process, and it's like, it's so funny how like long and drawn out it is. Just like in terms of like how long it took them to like pull up images and videos. Like, they're like, hang on, like, we gotta, that's the wrong file, we gotta pull this one up. And the whole time you're just saying like, God, like, I couldn't even imagine me sitting in that room right now. Like, I'd be so bored, like, waiting for them to pull this stuff up, and like it's just like so like procedural. I feel like, I mean, like, and that's how it's supposed to be, but like, it's like, it's funny, like, watching it, like, as a spectator, because, like, you're trying to, like, you know, you're so used to watching, like, courtroom drama, like, movies and TV shows where it's, like, everything's, like, cut and dry, back to back to back, and, like, there's so much, like, buffer time, like, in between, like, where they're all just, like, sitting in, there was, like, literally times where they all just, like, are sitting in silence, and I'm, like, and obviously people are doing stuff, but it's, like...
Well, and they're not, like, on TV, you see lawyers portrayed as, like, the sharpest, like, most... you know, on top of it individuals, and then you see Turd's lawyers just like fumbling the bag on the stand. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they were just trying to make something out of nothing at that point. It was weird. You can only do that for so long.
Right. It was weird seeing how like ill prepared those people look. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you said, like, it seems like in those shows, those guys are getting up there and like, you know, talking to the audience and the judge, and then everyone's like,
yeah, right.
I mean, like,
and ultimately, they're just people. Like, people like trying to do their homework on it, but like at the same time, like, it's like, what can you really do when you don't actually have any evidence to stand on? Like, you just have to stand up there and make stuff up. Like, at that point, like, because you're just, you know, you're trying to make it all work, but it's like you don't have anything, so it's just like you're trying to just keep it going, and like. Yeah, and like the whole thing with that, with like the wrong juror and all that, like, it's like, isn't that the attorneys, like, because like that came out like a couple of days ago, like how it was like, oh, there was a wrong juror in the verdict, so that's, you know, that causes for a mistrial and all that, but it's like, wait, aren't the attorneys the ones that pick the jurors and like all of that? Like, that whole thing ended up getting tossed, so it was like, it's done, and I'm, you know, it was entertaining, it was fun, and I liked seeing like all the clips of Johnny just like being himself.
He's a legend.
And it was such a smart move for him on like from a PR standpoint, as like, you know, he was willing to air out his dirty laundry to save his career. You know, like, he had to air, you know, there was a lot of embarrassing pictures, like the one of him passed out with the ice cream, and the videos of him. I mean, the worst thing that we saw was the video of him slamming the cabinets and pouring the glass of wine. Like, that was it. And like,
really not too bad. Yeah, I
like. That was like right after his mom died too.
Right. So it's like, you know, there's some context there, and like, you know, it's not, you know, it's not abusive to slam a cabinet. Like, I'm sorry, like that's not abuse. I mean, it's not. It's reckless. It's, you know, immature. You know, all that, but like, it's not illegal. So it's very funny to like see like how they like tried to, because they basically tried to like go the angle of like he's a drug addict and alcoholic, and that means he's an abusive guy. And like I said, like that doesn't necessarily equate to that, you know, unless there's actual evidence of violence, which in this case there wasn't. So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I like how he said the only person he abuses is himself.
Right.
That was pretty good.
Owning up to it.
It's a good line.
Right, and like he was willing to like show his humanity, and I think it helped him so much because now like he's won over the public, the court of public opinion. He's completely won him over, and like now he's like signing a deal with Disney and doing all that. So like, good for him, man. He was able to get out of this, go from his career being destroyed to salvaging it just by airing it all out and willing to show the humanity of him, because he's just a guy, he's a person. Like, yeah, he's like one of the biggest stars in the world, but like he's a human being, and like he makes mistakes. He's not a perfect person, like, but at the same time that doesn't necessarily mean he's a criminal either. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting study of our celebrity class in this world.
I would say so. That whole trial got me thinking.
Here, you can move that back.
Not to change gears completely, but that whole trial got me thinking. Now, would you rather date a lawyer or an actress? I think that's a good question.
It is
a good question. Are they both at the top of their game?
They're both at the top. They're wherever you want them to be. They're at the same level though. So they're as a it's a BList actress and a civil court lawyer.
Fair.
Whatever, match them up. Yeah.
I would say lawyer, and I'll tell you why. I just think like an actress at the top of her game, like there's way more eyes on an actress, like, and there's way more like publicity, and like not even like eyes of like other dudes. Like I don't care about that, but like I want that, but like like more so like eyes from like the press and the news and like the media, like, and I wouldn't want like all those people like taking pictures of me all the time and like getting in my grill and asking me stupid questions, like, and like that's what you get when you're dating a celebrity. It's like, but like as a lawyer, like yeah, she's a big deal, but it's like a lot of even those like high rank like celebrity lawyers, like Johnny Depp's lawyer, like Camille Velasquez, like even like her, like yeah, she's like probably like the most famous of them just because of that trial, but like most of the people on her level, most people don't know who they are, right. But like everybody knows who like the most famous actresses in the world are, like, so it's like,
that's a very good point.
So it's like, that you wouldn't have all the attention of like the media on you, like having an actress as a girlfriend as opposed to like,
I mean, having a lawyer as a girlfriend would definitely be tough at times because they're going to come with a little bit of bite.
Yeah,
but it would also be very nice because lawyers also know other lawyers, and lawyers get people out of a lot of just little shit, and they're very attentive to detail.
Right.
And
could also backfire on you.
Could backfire.
I was about to say that.
Anything you say will be remembered. Like, there's
and evaluated and analyzed.
Right, and if the marriage goes, and if you're married and it goes south, you're in big trouble when it comes to the courts. So.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the thing. You're in trouble there. So, I mean, I would say the lawyer, but like, I would say the lawyer,
I guess, yeah. You're right. Yeah, not a lawyer.
I'd go with the lawyer too. I was just curious what you all thought.
No, it's a good question, but I think, I just think because of that, just the public eye, and like that's the thing. Like imagine being a celebrity. Like you're literally going out. You're like you can't even go to the store without like people following you with cameras and like trying to snap you like at your weakest points, like. And then, like, even just, like, if you're wearing an outfit that isn't, like, trendy or popular, and then you have, like, TMZ and, like, all those fake, like, publications. And, like, who really cares what they think? But it's, like, still, like, just having that stuff aired out in public is just, like, why? Like, did you see that outfit TJ was wearing at Publix? Right. Like, what was he thinking? Like, I kind of like being a normal... Like, I always wanted to be a celebrity growing up. But, like, now I'm, like, I kind of like being a normal person because it's, like, you don't have to worry about, like... You can go out in public just like and blend in with society, whereas like if you're like a if you're like a Johnny Depp, like everybody knows who you are. Like you can't go anywhere without like people in your grill like asking for autographs and crap like that. So it's like and like pictures and like all that stuff, and it's just like I mean I feel like it is kind of gratifying because like people respect you for your work, but like at the same time it's like I just want time to I just want to blend in with the society.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, can you imagine like after a 3-day weekend bender and you're walking into Publix or you're walking into Sunoco to grab some snacks to go eat miserably hungover on the couch, people are just snapping pictures of you.
Right. And they're like, oh, look at how hungover Bobby is right now.
It looks like shit. Like, yeah, you know, it's just, yeah.
Has Bobby gained weight?
Right.
Like, yeah, like that's always one. It's like, okay, like y'all need to chill. And like all the beach pics too. Like they always catch like the most unflattering like beach angles of like actresses and like famous people and like put them on the like I always see them like when I'm in the checkout aisle. And it's funny like a lot of those magazines are like I even see them like nowadays. Like even back like 10 years ago, I was like, who's buying this stuff? But like especially now,
yeah, I mean,
like who buys a magazine?
No, but I mean, it's all over the internet.
Right, it's on the internet. That's the thing.
Right,
too, yeah.
But I know what you mean. Like they still are at the checkout aisles of grocery stores. Who the fuck is picking one of those up on the way out?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, can't leave without this. You know what I mean?
Right, because you can
the people who have been buying them their entire lives, like they're eventually going to go extinct. But there's still like that crew of probably 60 to 80-year-old women that go in there and snag People magazine.
Throw it on the thing.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's like, but that's the thing. Like the death of physical media. Like, when do you think like physical like newspapers? Like, if you had to guess a year, like in the future, like when do you think like they'll just completely be gone?
50.
People also buy them in airports.
Yeah, because they can read them on the plane.
You know what I want to say though? I want to say like 2050, because by that time we'll be like 50-ish, right? In mid-50s, whatever. Like the generations that grew up with newspapers, like we grew up with news that wasn't newspapers pretty much, right? By the time that you were like acknowledging the news, it was online.
Yeah.
So like I'm saying, by the time that we're of an age, everybody else below us will be of an age where they grow up with that. I think that'll be the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe. I mean, who knows though? Like that might all still be like a nostalgic, like there's a lot of things that stay around that are
right,
really
like records.
Like records. Like that's a great point. Like records. Like it almost becomes like a novelty kind of thing, or like something cool to have. Like you know what I mean? Like you walk in, someone's got a nice record player and a collection of albums. You're like, oh, that's sweet, but like that's not the most efficient way of playing music. You know what I mean? Like at all. Like
no, so but I like the grainy sound of a record.
Oh,
too.
I know. I agree.
Like, yeah, you're right. Like it's like
I mean,
there's also things in newspapers that people check for, like very probably specific little things that are probably not easily accessible on the internet.
That's also very true. I mean, dude, just for example, like right in front of us right here, I know the cameras aren't picking it up, but these Bose 401 speakers are from like 85. They're wired up to a receiver right there. Like I could easily go get a wireless speaker that's this big, you know what I mean? It would make the same sound, like the same volume. No, but like I like those. They look nice. They have a better quality of sound. There's something about them that, you know, it's just more.
Yeah, it's vintage. It's like
it's cool.
Yeah, and I like the wood grain on them too. Like you can't see them on the cameras, but those are definitely fire. But it's like I think it's just like if I had to guess the year though, like that like news like paper and like magazines would be gone. I think it's probably in the next 10-15 years. Like I don't
like fully gone though.
Fully gone. I mean, think about how much they've been reduced. Like,
but I honestly, I was thinking somewhere closer to that until Harry said airports, and then I was like, shit. Like,
maybe they'll stick around in airports a little longer, but like,
I feel like that's just like it's like a thing. Like you grab a paper at the airport. Harry, you travel a lot. I mean, you're on the road like every week.
Yeah, newspapers, magazines.
Yeah,
grab the upcoming fantasy football magazine.
Yeah, I do that like every year.
Peek it on the plane.
Yeah,
don't really learn anything from it, but
and you know where I could almost see those making a comeback too is that everyone is just so fucking sick of staring at a screen all day on their phone, on their computer. And it's just like, you know what? I want to enjoy this without my eyes, you know what I mean? Draining my eyes into blue light.
Yeah, and that's why I think the metaverse and all that is just a complete gimmick that's going to fail, because it's like nobody wants to sit there with a freaking like, have you ever wore those VR goggles? They're so uncomfortable. I could never imagine wearing that all day. And like they're expecting people to be working in that and like playing in that like all the time, like never taking them off. And it's like people just practically don't want to like wear that all the time. Like, you know, it's one thing if you're just, you know, watching a screen and you can look away, or on your phone you can look away. Like, but like when you're wearing those, like everywhere you look, it's on your face. Like it's attached to your face. Like at that point, it's just like Elon Musk said that, I think, in an interview once, and he was like, it's just not practical. Like nobody wants to wear that. And they're like, well, what if you reduce the weight? And he's like, but still, like it's just like the idea of wearing something strapped to your eyes is just like
it would have
ridiculous.
I think it would have to be those like in Black Mirror, you know, and like they put the little chips on the side of people's heads, and then
that's the scary stuff.
That's the scary. I mean, that is like practical too. Though, you know what I mean? Like
Black Mirror makes it feel like realistic,
right,
possible.
But like, I mean, I can't practically think. But then again, aren't they like? Isn't Elon doing that right now? The chips in people's heads, like he's testing that shit out. So like
the Neuralink,
the Neuralink, yeah. Brad was telling me about that.
Yeah, and
I had a good source.
That's the stuff where I'm just like, like I don't like the chipping in people and all that. Like that's just an invasion of privacy at that point. Because like, it's one thing to have a phone because you know that tracks your location, like all of our phones do. But like, you can always just put it down and like go somewhere without it. Like if you really are like concerned about it. But like that, it feels like it's very permanent. You know, when they stick something in your head or in your body or in your arm or wherever, like have you seen those like prototypes of like the chips that they put like in your arm and then you like scan them to like buy stuff or like scan them to like get stuff?
No,
like,
why? Yeah.
Just because it's like they're like, oh, it's you don't have to worry about carrying a wallet. You don't have to worry about having like
I get why, but why like who in their right mind is like?
I just
ship me.
I figure if I'm getting robbed, I'd rather someone take my wallet than my arm.
Yeah, that's true. They're gonna cut off your arm and take it.
Start losing limbs out. Just here's the wallet.
But I feel like it'd be like one of those things like with the old iPhones. You know, the old iPhones had like those thumb things that you had to scan your thumbprint to unlock the phone.
Like, my laptop.
It wouldn't work if it doesn't have a pulse. So like if someone cut off your finger, it wouldn't work.
Really?
Yeah.
It's that intuitive?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it has like a heat sensor on there, so like you can check if you have blood.
You probably can't put a cold thumb on there.
Then microwave it.
Just nuke the thumb for like 5 minutes.
Ways around things. Throw it in the air fryer.
Yeah. The air fryer I think is one of the greatest inventions of the last decade, though.
Yeah, I was thinking like the things turned around here when TJ moved in, but it might have been the air fryer.
That's very true.
The air fryer he came with.
Yeah, my parents were like, we gotta get an air fryer for this place, because it's awesome, and it's crazy. It's just a little mini convection oven, really, is what it is. But it's just like, it's so like convenient.
I've never been.
Tastes and like stuff tastes much better out of the air fryer than like baking it.
I've never been so into eating frozen foods before. You know what I mean? Like I would have never.
Pop them in.
Yeah, literally, you get those little bear nuggets. It's like Chick-fil-A. It's
like they're fresh.
Those are dangerous. The Just Bears. I love them though, but they're actually not that bad. Like, if you're gonna eat frozen food, that's probably the frozen food to eat. Like, it's better than eating like bagel bites and like
when we had those mozzarella sticks in there. That was bad.
Those were
dark times.
Those were dark times, man.
We were TJ your shrimp.
Oh God.
Popper things that were this big.
Oh yeah, those were a fail. I tried those one time and I was like, these are gross. I threw them out.
Why were they like? I mean, I feel
twice.
like it would be
2 times. Yeah, once or
check
twice.
Check him.
Tried them once or twice.
I feel like the thing is too. Shouldn't they make them look like shrimp? Like the fact that they were just these big old long. It was just like what the.
To be honest, I thought they were gonna be like popcorn shrimp, like, but they were like.
That's what I was picturing.
Yeah, they were like big, long, elongated shrimp, like. Yeah, and they were not good. I made them with like some spaghetti one night, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a little spaghetti and shrimp," and I like ate it. And I'm like, "No."
Yeah, would you take those or that liver you made the other day?
The liver.
Really?
Yeah, I would take the liver.
I tried that liver. Did you try that liver here?
No.
It was.
Yeah, I tried to cook some beef liver. I probably prepared it wrong, but it was not good. I did not like. There's like a heavy aftertaste, like a heavy like.
Yeah, it like just
metallic like irony taste, and like I'm iron deficient, so like I like iron like that, but like not. It just like was like overkill.
Sure.
Maybe I'll like if somebody like else prepares it, I'll try it again. But like, I'm not like on that cooking level to be able to like. I just literally seasoned it and threw it on the grill like it was a steak and tried to cook it that way. I mean, I cooked it for sure because I like it and I like cooking stuff thoroughly. So like, I definitely cooked it, but I just don't know if I did it right. And I don't know if I prepared it right because it just like it had like a lot of like the juice still in it. I don't think you're supposed to have it like that. So it is what it is. Maybe I'll try. I mean, I'm open to trying it again, but like just the way I had it made at that moment, I was just like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that one again? The health benefits?
It was vegetables, right?
Well, I just was like, it's very nutrient high. It's very high in nutrients, and like I was watching like a lot of videos from like Liver King, that guy on Instagram.
I was gonna ask if that was an inspiration.
Yeah, he was definitely an inspiration. I was like,
he makes it look gross.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
he had it dipped in
his Liver King.
He just
he's
eats
a super
liver.
jacked guy that eats like
just organs.
like eats like a caveman.
Yeah, yeah.
And
but he's like yoked.
He's absolutely like loaded, like jacked.
Loaded. D-ball guy.
I mean, you can make the argument for sure. You can make the argument he's roided, but like honestly, I don't know. Maybe he just eats a lot of that shit and makes him really big.
Liver King eats it raw though.
He does. He eats it raw and dips it in maple syrup, which is maybe what I should have done. Honestly, that may have made it better. But
I think it was a little like bitter.
It was very.
You don't like raw meat though. Why would you eat it raw?
Well, it's an organ. It's not like.
Yeah.
It's not like meat.
I mean,
it technically is meat.
It looks like meat.
Yeah, it looks like meat. It's technically meat, but like, it's not the same type of like eating like a steak raw.
would you guys eat raw? Would you guys eat like
raw
meat,
life?
Raw life. Hey, raw life. Would you guys eat like meat like that raw? Like, would you eat like a raw steak?
No.
Like, completely raw. I mean, like, don't cook it cold, raw.
Absolutely not. No.
I would, dude. I had some beef tartare over in Portugal. Just raw beef. It's just raw beef. It was pretty tasty, man. I'll tell you what. I didn't think I'd like it going in, but raw is law. So
yeah, I just raw is law. But no, like I just I don't know. It's my preference. I like it cooked. I like it. I like my steak a step away from jerky.
fair enough. It's each their own, though.
I do like. Yeah, I might make some tomorrow. If we don't go to the beach, which we're probably gonna go to the beach.
We gotta go to the beach.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably try it, just because I'll try anything. But like, that's the thing. I don't know if I'll like it. Like, that's the thing. I'll always try something, but like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Like, like I'm never like that guy that's like, ew, I'm not gonna try that. Like, but like, I'll at least give it a try. But like, I'm just like, especially if somebody like says it's good, but like, that that doesn't mean I'll eat it again. It's like I've tried some stuff where I'm like, like.
What's an example? What's one of the weirdest things you've ever eaten?
I don't know. I would say
liver's probably up there.
Liver's probably up there. Even though it's not like that weird. Like a lot of people like eating liver, but like, especially with, like onions, like the people at the sushi place were telling me. But or the hibachi. But I don't know. The one weirdest thing I ever tried was that peanut butter and jelly that's in the same can, in the same jar. You know what I'm talking about?
It's just like a swirl.
A mix of both.
Yeah, in a jar, and I put it on. I made a sandwich out of it, and it was absolutely disgusting.
I mean, that can't be that much more convenient than just using both of them.
Right.
You can't be saving that much time.
It's called goober or whatever.
Oh.
And it's like peanut butter
It's
and
a
jelly.
2-to-1 ratio. You're one scoop in it. Boom. You have your PB&J in one scoop.
Yeah, I mean, it cuts a whole scoop out. It expedites half the process.
Imagine if you have a bunch of kids and you're just bam, 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 bam,
bang, 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 smear it out.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. PB&J is like kind of PB&J is kind of a lot of work. If you think about it, like.
All right? So if you go PB&J, first of all, do you go J first then P, or do you go P first then J?
P first.
Okay, and then do you wash the knife off before you go into the J?
Well, I actually wipe it on the J slice of bread,
and then
to get the P off, and then I go into the J.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably how I would do it too.
Yeah.
I'd start with the P. P's the base.
But if it's like just mine,
I'd probably start with the. I'd probably start with the jelly. It gets off the. I've never really thought about this, but it would get off the knife easier. You know what I mean?
That's true.
The peanut butter would linger around on there. You get the jelly, you could probably just do one little
or
and then just go.
You could have a 2-in-1.
or you could do the goober, which literally tastes like complete ass.
Why is it called goober? Like, wouldn't it be a combination of the two words?
That's just the brand, but
like that Mayo stuff.
Oh, Mayo Chop, yeah.
Mayo Chop, dude. Did you? They started combining all this, man. How many times do you think they had to they had to go through them? Because what's the combination of mayo and mustard?
Yeah, what's the ratio?
Yeah.
Are you saying ratio or
I meant the word,
name?
the word, because it can't be Maytard. You know what I mean? Like how many? Like, that had to got brought up once, and somebody was like, "Whoa, yeah."
Mayoster.
Right, because it doesn't.
Mayosterd.
Mayos, yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, we'll have to ask them.
We'll figure it out.
But isn't that kind of ridiculous? Like how they're just like, let's just mix mayonnaise with everything.
It is like good with
yeah,
everything.
I mean, it makes sense.
It's making mayonnaise an instrument.
It is good, dude. I put mayo and sriracha for those little chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah, that's your special sauce.
It is my special sauce, Bobby's house sauce.
It's a nice little ratio.
It is. It's the golden ratio.
They call it mayo must.
Mayo must.
Mayo must.
Okay.
Not Maytard.
Maytard. Yeah.
Yo, pass me some of that Maytard.
I guarantee someone it was on the idea board. For
yeah.
a second.
Like, we got to change that.
Somebody was like, ho, 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 ho.
You're like, yo, buddy.
It's interesting, dude. Mixing everything with everything today. Everything's about being more efficient nowadays.
Yeah. People are just like, but hey, laziness breeds innovation.
But I don't necessarily. That's good. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, man. I mean, and speaking of efficiencies, dude. I mean, now, swipe of an app, you're meeting girls in the area. I mean, it's crazy. Like I was chatting up with, a couple guys my dad's age, and they're just like, man.
You're chatting online with a couple guys.
No, I was chatting it up at a. I was chatting it up at a when I was back in Cincy, and they're saying they're like, man. I mean, that would have been a thing back when we were kids. I mean, it is kind of a crazy concept. If you think about it, you literally go through and you just look at pictures and you're just like, yep, no, yep. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're on a date in an hour. You know what I mean? Like, we're back in the day, you have to go outside and strike a conversation and ask somebody.
That would be kind of cool, though.
I agree with you. I'm
like,
just
you
saying
just want what you can't have kind of thing. They think that would be sweet, just to be able to rip through it like a phone book.
And it is a double-edged sword, because now the like cold approach almost gets looked at like some people would look at it like girls would be like well, why are you coming up to me right now, you know what I mean, kind of thing, because I feel like there's just not all the time but sometimes. But
I think it's kind of true, but at the same time I think a lot of girls like being approached because they want like it, it makes them feel like they're, it makes them feel special, and like a lot of girls like go out subconsciously to be approached. Like, it may not be their main reason. Like, a lot to, they want to go out and have fun and drink or go out to the beach or go do activities, but it's like, or even just simply go to the grocery store. But it's like, like, I don't think as many of them would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, coming up to me as like you would think. 'Cause it's like I can say from experience, like, I think girls will give you the respect of just going up and saying something to them, like, even if they're not attracted to you, like, they'll just give you the like, a lot of times, like, when I go up and approach girls, like, it's like they'll give me the respect of just like they'll at least give me a little bit of a conversation just because I had the balls to go up and say something to them. Like,
because I mean, whether they're attracted to you or not, they're interested in the opportunity or not, it still feels good to have somebody like be interested in you,
right?
I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, like to. They're like, okay, like, wow, I look like somebody, I look good today. Like, it's gratifying, you know what I mean? So.
Right. So, like, I don't think the cold approach is totally lost from the female end. I think it is from the male end, because too many guys lean in on the dating apps because it's easier. And they don't want to. True. Yeah, double entendre there. But, like, a lot of guys, like, they resource to the dating apps more because it's like, they don't want to like have the fear of being rejected as easily. Because like you said, you just swipe on people that you're attracted to and toss out the people you aren't. But like, when you're going up for a cold approach, like, you got to be prepared to get slam dunked on. Like, and it happens to every soldier that goes out there and does it. Like, it's like, me included, a lot of time, more times than I've, succeeded, I've failed. But like, it's kind of the fun part. And like, you got to be like, and it's always fun, like, trying to find an exit strategy in a conversation that is falling apart. Like, like, or it's like, you can kind of tell that they're like, okay, like, I'm moving on with my life. And I'm just like, all right, that was nice meeting you. Like, see you later kind of thing, where it's like, I don't know. I think it's kind of fun to like, just like gamble like that. It's more like emotional gambling, and like, than like the apps where it's so like superficial, like, it's like you're not really having a real conversation with somebody, like, you're not really feeling their energy, like, and I think it like helps with
the app's just to book the meeting,
right? That's where I was going to. That's what I was getting to.
The first step.
Right. The app I like because it's nice during the week when I'm not going out and like I just like want to waste time like to get on there because it's like you can make plans for the weekend with somebody like and it bypasses like having to like go through somebody to get the number or like or like go up for like a cold approach at like the grocery store while you're buying in the fruit aisle or whatever like the produce aisle like it's nice in that sense because you can bypass a lot of like the BS through the apps. But at the same time, it's like you don't get that real like connection up front. And like sometimes like you'll match with somebody, and then it'll just deteriorate. Like whether they don't respond to you or you don't respond to them, like that happens a lot. So it's like you just have like it's very superficial. Yeah, and that's why I kind of prefer the cold approach. To the apps, but I do like the apps. I think they do have a good place, but I think too many guys, like I was saying, lean into it because like it's just easier than going up and risking getting rejected.
Sure,
but
no,
like,
absolutely.
If you're not afraid to get rejected, then it doesn't really matter.
It's a crazy concept that you could potentially, if you're good with it, if you've got a nice approach through the app, you could potentially sit on a Sunday and have a date every day that week, just sitting there on one day. Whether you're not being picky, if you're good at.
So I was doing when I first moved here.
That's what you were doing.
That's part of the reason I wasn't doing this as much. I was just like going out and dating a lot and like just meeting a bunch of new girls. Like, and most of them fizzled out. Some of them are materializing, but it's like
that's the topic. That's an avenue we got to go down here.
But yeah, it's like it's just fun. Like I just like. And like it was a way for me to see the town too, like going to walk around, jumping from getting drinks here, get a drink there. And the thing is, you want to go to more. Here's some advice for the young soldiers out there in college or high school or even like our age. Go to multiple places, multiple locations. You don't want to stick around in one place for too long. So like if you're at a place, you get a drink, or if you're at like the park or something, I don't know, then walk somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Always be on the move. Because it's just like then it's like you're having an experience as opposed to just sitting at a restaurant or a bar, which I don't do dinner dates, but like as a first date, but like sitting at sitting at a place and the whole time it gets stale and you're just like trying to keep the conversation like if it starts getting stale, go to a new location. Yeah. Like be like, hey, let's go over there. Like I do that a lot where it's like, hey, I like, and like, especially around here. Cause like it gets me to see the town too. Like I'm just like, and I start seeing where things are and knowing where things are. Like, and I get more of my bearings. Cause I'm like, hey, let's walk here. And then you start walking that way and you're like, oh, I remember walking this way when I got my haircut. I remember walking here when we went out. Like, and you kind of like put the pieces together while at the same time you're having an experience as opposed to just sitting somewhere stationary, trying to keep a conversation going. Like it adds more to a conversation because then you can talk about your surroundings as opposed to just like, oh, like what do you and your family do? Like,
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like that when you're walking around, like there can be things that happen in your surroundings that then strike a new conversation, right? You don't have to sit there and ask how growing up was and wherever.
And ask about a bunch of questions that like neither person really cares about. Like,
neither you give a fuck about the answer, but it's Or I'm a big activity based. Mm-hmm. Do something like trivia or like even on this year we got the trivia play. We got like axe throwing place. There's the little mini bowling, like what I mean. Like you can go do that stuff. So it's like that's also something just to maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe one person's shy or the other. You know what I mean? That's a great way to start off. Especially I love dating shy girls. That's it.
I agree. But yeah, I think bowling is kind of a fun one because it's like tongue in cheek. It's not too like, like fancy, like mustache twirling. Like it's very much like, and it's like, you can get drinks there. It's a good place to like, it's an activity, like you said. And it's like also just like, it's very casual. That's what I like about it.
And no one gives a fuck if you're good at bowling.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody's good at bowling unless you're like.
You both roll some gutter balls, have some good laughs, have some drinks.
Right. And it's like,
there's dudes out there though that are solid at bowling that take all first dates to a bowling alley.
Like to like show off as if that's like
let's go flex.
Like she's like
pull
telling
out
her
their
friends.
own ball.
Like a glove, like a fingerless
in the bag, the glove,
a fingerless glove on. Like she's gonna go back and tell her girls like he was super good.
He was stretching.
Yeah, he was working out his right arm before we played.
It's incredible.
He said, "Who do you think you are? I am."
Yeah, I was literally thinking about that quote. I was like, how does that go again? Is it who do I think I am? Yeah, that's it. Who do you think I am or whatever? Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, like I said, like bowling is definitely a good first date because, like I said, it's like
Bobby,
you can get the drinks, you can have, it's a good excuse for like physical contact. It's an activity, like.
Thank you.
And it's very casual, so it's like it's a good first date avenue. That's a good point, Bob.
What about putt-putt?
Putt-putt's good too.
I like putt-putt is also bar right by us.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's called Par Bar, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's a little putt-putt place.
Yeah, putt-putt is another good one, for the same reasons. Yeah.
You get to compete a little bit with her too.
Right. There's a little competition there, like a little friendly competition. Always a good thing.
What? All right. Do you go out trying to win?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But not by like a wide margin.
Yeah. You can't
don't
like
wanna
run.
go.
Why
roller.
not?
You can't like run roller.
Yeah, right. Right. Like you want to. Like you certainly want to.
Don't make her quit on like the 12th green.
Right. Where she's like, this guy's just like a dick.
Yeah,
Like,
she's like,
This guy is just sinking.
This guy's more into the putt-putt than he is me.
Right. You don't want to be more. You don't want to be
He's
more.
not even walking with me anymore.
Right. You don't want to be more into the activity, but like that. I also think like you should definitely try to win. But like
for sure.
But like you don't want to be that guy that's like way more into the activity than like into the conversation, because like that's the thing, you're going on a date, you're not going on to win, play putt-putt. Like if you win, you would definitely want to play to win, but like you don't want that to be the focus. That's my point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's that's another good one though, putt-putt. But also
how
the axe throwing, which I've never done before actually, but
Harder than you think.
I bet
That's what I hear.
it's basically like throwing darts, only like way more like
barbaric. No, the shit like bounces off.
That's what I always
gotta
thought.
be
I'm like,
dangerous, dude.
I'm like,
Like,
I feel like that could decapitate somebody like at the wrong angle. Like,
imagine, man. Like, are you liable for that? Like, if you throw the axe and it bounces back and just decks somebody in the head? I mean, is that like, are you?
The place has got to be
But like, I'm sure you signed some kind of waiver that, like,
yeah, I think you do.
If you decapitate someone, yeah, right. Like, I think there's just better options for. Also, what people drink. It's just like, what?
Like, all it's gonna take is one guy to have like one too many Guinnesses and turn around with one of those things.
Yeah. His buddy's talking shit. What?
yeah, just dudes fucking around.
Right.
Start throwing them at each other.
I didn't mean to hit him.
You know what's not a good first date place though?
What's that?
The movies.
I mean, yeah, no, that was like 8th grade.
No, that's
even like that, like, and that's just coming from a low rate movie critic. Like, never take your girl to the movies.
No,
ever.
No. I mean, because you're not talking there, and then by the end of you just sat in silence for 2.5 hours.
Right.
It's just. I feel like the mood's killed at that point to some extent.
How long into the movie do you pull the like? One of those.
For those of you
or do you try a couple times?
The previews. During the previews.
That's also just like a long time to have your arm
like
around
if
someone.
I got popcorn, like I would want to enjoy that a little bit without having to.
Yeah.
I think I would go like a third of the way through the movie.
Like second act.
Yeah.
Late second act.
Really? You're that long? Because then you're like, then you get in your own head. Like I've been there where I'm like, you get your own head and you're like, damn.
No, it's like I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna eat the popcorn and enjoy the movie for a little bit. And
we share the popcorn
once everyone settles in.
You go arm around and then you share the popcorn.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because it's like that, yeah. Because then you like get in your own head. Like I mean, maybe because I was younger, but like that's how you get. Like you're like, man, like do I do it now? Do I do it now? Like,
yeah. I mean, if you're putting yourself back in like a middle schooler's mindset, that was always an extremely stressful situation.
It was,
dude.
It was.
Like I was sweating in those theaters.
Yeah, you're like, is she gonna like me if I do it in this first act or the second act? Like,
I mean, like imagine if your parents had to drop you off at a date now. Like, it's hard to go in there confident, like feeling cool,
coming out of your parents' car, coming out of the back seat,
just in the elite socks, polo tee,
in like a GNC Arcadia, and just you get out.
Hey, I'm over here.
You're like texting on your like your
chocolate touch,
or
razor.
Those are the days though.
Those were the days.
And getting the first phone is a pretty freeing feeling.
It was.
Yeah.
You felt like you were like an adult because you're like, man, I can go out and like if I need to call my parents, I can just call them on speed dial. Like,
yeah. It was kind of crazy, like, of the era that we grew up. It was, like, right when, like, so the time that we were starting to get cell phones and all that, it was, like, right when smartphones were, like, hot, like a thing. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. I remember, I think we all had some sort of, like, flip phone or something beforehand, right? Yeah. And then I remember the first time I got, like, it was I think it was the Nokia 5800 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was a touch screen, like, had a had a call and end button at the bottom, but there was a touch screen on it. I remember being just fucking blown away, zonked by the fact that I could get on the internet on that.
And those phones were literally bulletproof.
Like plugged into anything. Like I was freaking out.
You could literally put a revolver right to that phone and shoot it, and it would still work.
But all 6 shots, and you could still make a call.
But yeah, I agree. It was like you felt like you were like in the new age of technology, like the new world. Like you're like, whoa, like I have a touch screen phone. Like I could play Tetris from the touch screen. Like play a little ball game.
Oh yeah, Brick Breaker.
Brick
Breaker on the BlackBerry.
On the BlackBerry, your dad's BlackBerry.
God,
just
dude.
rip it.
I got a couple of those like hand-me-down BlackBerries.
Kids now though get phones and iPads and all that
when they're infants.
When they're like little kids.
Yeah, when they're children.
It's easier just to give them an iPad than to like entertain your kids. You know.
Yeah. I agree. Like you see kids at restaurants all the time with iPads, and it's kind of sad because it's like you're not like these kids are like just being like hypnotized by.
I think that's really sad because
and like imagine like the social aspect of it, like growing up in middle school and every kid in the class has Snapchat. Imagine the amount of like shit that's being talked and people being like left out of things and
yeah.
Yeah, no,
there's no way it's a good thing for them.
Certainly not. No, I give all the credit in the world to like listening into, because I didn't have siblings, I didn't have any like cousins my age. So like when I was a kid, I'd listen into all the adult conversations. There weren't iPads that sit in front of me. So, and I credit that to why I got good at like talking at a young age. Like I was like always very like, even I wasn't, I was like completely dicking around in school, but I was very like punctual all the time, and I was like I had a good vocabulary because it's like I had no other option but to sit there and just try to be a part of those. And now
there's kids now that like you
playing fucking Flappy Bird
something to them and they're sitting there and they don't even like look back up at you.
That's the scariest thing, man. Like, is when you like say something and they're just like they're just like one with they're just connected to it. It's just like holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like there could be like an emergency around you and you're just like
yeah, right.
stuck on this.
Yeah, social skills are really important, honestly. Like they can get you far in the world just being able to talk to people. Like it's crazy, like because it's like, in school you're always like learning all this arithmetic and all these different facts and whatever it may be that you're learning. Like, but it's like if you can't communicate with anybody, like, what can you really like bring to the table? Like, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, with any job too, like just having like people skills on top of it, like could increase your salary or your potential to like move up by a ton. Like if you're an engineer who's like goes socially, like opens up a whole nother like avenue of opportunities than would be if you're not socially inept. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
it's like you can have all the data in the world and know all the different calculations and all that, but like a lot of stuff can be done on the computer too. Like I feel like. But at the same time, it's like, but having that like in your head combined with, being able to socialize and like hold a conversation or like get an idea out can make the world a difference. For sure.
I agree.
It's very interesting how we're going to see the new generation kind of handle that. Like, because it's like, who really knows, what these kids are going to be like, 'cause it's like.
You think they're going to take football away? Like, not full-time football, but, like, grade school, elementary school football?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I mean, but because they're doing it in little tidbits.
Yeah.
Like, they're taking away
starting
kickoffs.
To combine they're combining grades.
Combining grades, right. And then like, there's, a bunch of new rules about tackling, and they're taking away kickoff. And slowly,
it's going to become flag.
It'll become flag football. And then people will be like, well, why are we even playing this?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then that will be... That and
Let's just make
football.
Our kids play pickleball.
Don't shit on pickleball.
Pickleball is pretty
pickleball, dude. It's
But
a great game for all ages.
Playing football, like those are some of the best. Memories.
Oh my god, yeah. When do you think it starts then? So like, when do you think like
eighth
eighth
grade.
grade. I was gonna say 7th, 8th grade.
Which is crazy.
Which is I mean late. You know what I mean? Like that's like I feel like there's it's late.
And it's like Pee Wee football was crazy because like kids used to rock each other.
Oh yeah, there was always one or two or three guys that were far bigger than everybody else, and they would just deck everyone. But it was funny.
It built like a little bit of
it builds you a little bit of character going into high school.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely, dude.
That's a good point though. Like kids, like the kids' sports, like they're kind of they're chipping away at it. Like it's just like another and I think it's like what it like. I'm just very interested to see like what kids like our generation like with that aspect of like the social aspect of like not making friends through sports and like all of that like being put on the back burner, and on top of like what we were talking about with like technology and like them being too into like the computers and all, like how's this going to equate with like kids like in our next generation? Like
what do they do? Like what do they do? What are they into?
Right. Like or like how is society going to function like differently? Like because these kids are not getting proper socialization. I mean, and add on top of it, like the effects of when the pandemic was going on, like these kids are, were learning from home and all that. Like put that on top of it. Like think about the concept even of like a snow day. Like that's completely out the door at this point. Like,
yeah, because you can just go.
Like, and that was something that we'd all wake up in the morning and flush the toilet 2 times and turn around and pray that
well, I mean, you literally watch your school on the bottom of the TV screen.
On the ticker,
That was pretty electric. Like
it was.
Yeah, with your PJs on inside out, watching the...
doing all the traditions,
to call up the boys after, like, what are we doing today, fellas?
We're going sledding, playing snow football. Like, oh my gosh.
We're fucking around.
Yeah.
Jeez. And it's like, that is gone now. Like, and a lot of that stuff, it's just like... Because now kids are just going to learn online.
Kids still. Like, there's a... I don't know, but they all want to be inside and
online.
Yeah.
Do you guys?
Do you think? All right. Do you think? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Good.
Kids, do you think there's more like gamer kids now, like video games now more than like when we grew up? Because I feel like even when we grew up, it was everyone was playing video games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But kids now, do you think it's like everyone?
Yeah. And now kids, like, I think like more so than, I mean, like, when they're not playing video games, they're like watching someone else play video games, like the streamers,
like watching us play.
Right. Watching Battlefront 2. Check out the stream.
Twitch.tv/TJPOD.
Check us out. Battlefront 2 coming out live again this week.
Yep. And maybe
What missions?
I think we're on Magito.
Yeah,
no, we already did. Magito.
No, we beat that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
tune in.
We're gonna be playing. But I think to answer your question, yes. I think kids are playing a lot more video games now, and like, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think they try to give video games a lot of bad flack, and like, I do think there's negative effects to it. Like, if you're playing all day, but like, I think it's a good social aspect. I mean, think about it, like, I still have great memories playing like Halo 3 with my friends online, and like Call of Duty and like all those games back in the day, like playing Michael Myers, like on Modern Warfare 2, and like playing like all those different games. I mean, like, there's definitely like a space for it, but I agree, like, kids need to go out and play. They need to go outside and play. Like, it's good for physical activity. It's good for creativity. Like I remember just like getting like the plastic lightsabers from like Target or Walmart or whatever, any department store, and like going out in the woods and playing and pretending like we landed on Endor and playing Star Wars, like and like just creating stuff. Like, that's the thing I think that's gonna really hurt a lot of kids, is just being able to create, and be creative, because that's a big like part of development of kids, is like being able to imagine stuff and imagination.
It's
like,
not all just like given to you. Yeah, but I was just say, like, when we were in our neighborhood, it was like Lord of the Rings when that came out. Every kid, we all had the swords, and we'd go out and we'd play, and it only worked if everybody was all in. You know what I mean? Like, everybody had to be in character. So it built like a sense of community and like creativity. So it was good. But now it's, I mean, if it's just like given to you, I think you're right. You're losing some kind of aspect of,
if
like,
you're just playing a game,
just,
that's already been created by some company. Like, it's like
just mindlessly.
Yeah, your character's already created.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and it's like, so being able to like create, I think, is really what's hurting a lot of the next generation. It's just like that that being deprived of that because, yeah, like I said, it's just like I think it's very important for the development of the brain just to be able to think outside the box.
Sure.
Even if you're just playing pretend, like.
Right. No, absolutely.
But like also just like playing games outside, like capture the flag and cops and robbers,
even like wiffle ball,
or wiffle ball, or kickball, or kick the can.
We used to shoot airsoft guns at each other, like recklessly.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody would turn around and then, bop, right in the back.
Yeah,
just to see what it felt like.
You know what even though we're up next for dealing with the other side of it. You know what I really just never hope goes away? What? Is ding dong ditching. Oh, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like
ring doorbells are hurting that. Yeah. Ring doorbells are hurting that.
Like I'll be genuinely sad if I'm not inconvenienced by getting up to answer the door and no one's there and I hear fucking little kids laughing.
Or even like, even though you're not that mad, like chasing after them a little bit. Like, why not?
Yeah, right. Like, they'll be talking about that for weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, we got him so good.
The anonymity of it is gone because of Ring doorbells. Like, because they have it all on camera now. Like, everybody's got door cameras and like all that. So it's like, it takes away like being able to run and hide. Like, cause like once you get away, they'll just look back at the footage and be like, oh, that's Robert's kids. Like, and then
Jimmy from down the street.
Yeah, it's a little Jimmy. Yeah. Like, as opposed to like back in the day, like when you used to ding people, it was like, you ran off into the bushes and you were gone. Like, they didn't know who the hell it was. Like,
right.
So like,
yeah. Imagine getting caught on a ring doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Lame way to get snagged. Like,
I know. It's
how are kids supposed to have fun anymore?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure they're figuring it out.
Yeah. That's that we can be sure of.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You know what I was kind of thinking about earlier? When we were talking about snow days. Is like weather in general too, because that's a big change that we haven't discussed on here, TJ. Of you're gonna roll shortly here into your first Florida fall and your first Florida winter, and you know what I mean. So it's all very different. What are your thoughts on that? You're not gonna have. It's not gonna be cold. It's not gonna be snow. It's not gonna be.
Yeah,
you'll get like 65 on your coldest days.
Yeah, interesting question. I think it's. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to Wisconsin for Christmas to see my sister, so like sure. I'll get like 3 days of winter, but like honestly, I'm not gonna miss it too much. And I knew like this past winter that it was probably gonna be my last winter. So like
that's how I felt. Like Christmas.
It snowed actually in March in Cincinnati.
Is it really?
Yeah, it snowed like March 10th, and by then I was like kind of knew I was moving here at that point. Like I was moving in that direction, so I was like, damn, this may be the last time I see snow for a very long time. But like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to miss it too much, especially when it comes from a driving standpoint. Like, driving in snow is just a disaster. I was actually, real quick, driving back from work last year, and I watched a car in the snow completely spin out on the highway. Completely spin out. Like,
really?
100 yards in front of me. Completely spun like that. And tail whipping around and went right off in the shoulder. And I was like, and I like swerved over like to get away from it, and I was like, oh my god, that easily could have been me.
Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, that shit is scary. That I will not miss the walking to class or walking out in your driveway and you're wearing gym shoes and then your socks are wet.
Even like putting on multiple layers of clothing is super inconvenient.
Dude,
It's just like annoying because then once you get inside, you're sweating.
But then you're also like cold, and then you walk back outside and then there's sweat on you. Dude, it's just
it's nice being tan year round.
It is nice being tan. Nice going to the beach and just. I remember that we were. Harry, I forget who was down here. I think it was Dom and Faith for the weekend of the engagement. And I remember sitting there thinking, I was like, man, it is like December 18th, and I'm sitting on the beach right now drinking beer. Like,
that's the thing. The winter months are like the nicest months of the year down here.
By far my favorite.
Beautiful. I mean, it gets a little dark early, but it's like perfect weather.
Perfect.
I'm excited for that for sure.
It's I would say the only thing that I would say like I wouldn't give, or that I just found odd, is like seeing the Christmas decorations up with like palm trees around it.
It is weird, but I kind of like it. Like,
I do too.
In its own way, right? It's like Florida Christmas.
Yeah, it does, but it doesn't feel like Christmas. I mean, maybe it probably does. People who grew up here, but like for us, it's so like you're used to seeing all the trees dead and maybe some snow on the ground and everything.
Right.
And here it's like I was down taking a run by the pier and there's all the lights up and everything.
Yeah, they wrap all the palm trees like candy canes.
Yeah, it's just like wow, it's different.
Yeah, I'm very excited for my first winter down here. I really am.
It's the best. Yeah, December through February here is just
lovely.
Even like October. I think it kind of starts in October.
Right? Yeah, I think it does. October's like October's where it starts to like fluctuate. Like there'll be like really nice days, but it'll still get like really
still
hot
like kind
again.
of hurricane season too.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, we got our first.
You got to get your first hurricane.
Yeah, Harry and I had our first. The ceiling was leaking.
Yeah, we had a leak.
Which was odd because we weren't on the top floor, so I can't imagine what was going on up there.
I don't know. The ceiling was leaking a couple weeks ago out of that light.
Yeah, who knows with these
buildings. The hurricane one was like it was leaking through the smoke detector,
and it was like a lot.
Yeah, it was like a lot
of water. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I'm interested to see what that's like. Because, I mean, like, I've already seen, like, how, like I was mentioning earlier, how, like, storms just kind of come in and out. Like, I feel like with that, it's just like, like, you're just, like, barricaded up almost, like, hoping you don't get rocked.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, like, kind of concerning, too. Like, almost like a tornado coming through in Ohio. Kind of thing.
Yeah. We really didn't deal with too many of those. But, yeah, man, that's... Natural disasters are a whole other thing. You know?
Yeah. And, like, the idea of just, like, rain, like, just... Like, isn't that crazy? Like, we were talking about this earlier, like, before the show, like, how water just kind of falls from the sky. And it's, like, water's, like Shannon was saying that. She's off camera, but, like, she was saying that, like, one of our most, like, the thing that all humans need to, like, survive, like, falls from the sky. Like,
yeah. Not only water, clean water.
Clean water. Clean, drinkable
crazy.
water.
Yeah, it's drinkable.
Falls from the sky. Just, like, whenever.
Falls from the sky.
And think about it. Like, cultures used to, like ancient cultures used to worship and they used to sacrifice people to get water, to get rain.
Yeah.
Like they literally used to, like the Aztecs and the Mayans, like they used to fucking put people up there, rip their heart out, throw it on a hot pan, hoping that rain would come. It's true. Yeah. During a drought. Like, so it's crazy how like that's just always been a part of our life. And there's, like you said, like with natural disasters, like you can't stop it. Like it's just like, it just comes and you got to deal with it. Like,
yeah.
Fascinating.
It is.
All right. Well, thanks for doing this, fellas. We'll be doing this again for sure.
Absolutely.
Running it back and back and back and back. First Florida pod, but many more to come.
New HQ.
New HQ.
St. Pete.
Yeah, this was hype. And, yeah, thanks for doing this, obviously. You know, we're all living together, so.
We'll be back.
You guys will be hopping on streams. We'll be doing streams. We'll be doing other stuff. So, this is just kind of a primer to much more to come. And I always say that, but, like, this time I'm serious. Like, I actually really want to dive in and really start building this. Because, like, every time I get momentum, something ends up jumping up. And it's been a crazy few months, but, yeah, I'm really excited for the future. And, yeah. So, yeah, thanks for doing this, guys. Anything you want to share or plug?
All good here.
Nope. All right.
Excited for our next one.
Check me out on Twitch, TJPOD. We'll be playing some games. We're gonna do actually an NFL 2K series because the new game just came out. I'll be streaming that. We'll be streaming other stuff, and they'll be jumping in and out of a lot of my content since they live like right next to me. So, like, yeah, very excited for the new chapter here in the Sunshine State. I'm very excited, and yeah, I hope I can really start getting the ball rolling. So, thanks guys for everything, and yeah, check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't really use Facebook, but check me out. Check out the website tjmartino.com. Thank you all, and let the beat drop.